Hey everyone, welcome back to Senior Benefit Hub. I hope you're having an amazing day so far. Today's update is something that a lot of people are starting to notice, but very few fully understand. And the reason this matters so much is because it's catching seniors completely off guard. Not when they're watching the news, not when the government makes an announcement, but in a very specific moment. The moment they log into their bank account, everything looks almost normal, but not quite. Maybe the deposit is there, but it showed up later than usual. Maybe the amount looks slightly different at first glance. Or maybe that notification you always depend on didn't come through this time, and instantly your mind starts racing. Did something change? Was my benefit reduced? Is the bank holding my money? Here at WealthWave, we're seeing more and more of these situations happening. And for millions of Americans, this isn't a small issue. Social Security isn't just extra income, it's stability. It's rent, groceries, medications, and daily living. So even the smallest change doesn't feel small, it feels personal. Now, here's what's really going on, and this is the part most people aren't being clearly told. There are quiet changes happening right now behind the scenes, especially within the banking system. These are not big, loud announcements. They're subtle shifts, but they're real enough that they're starting to affect how Social Security payments actually appear in your account. And the tricky part is this: these changes don't look like major issues. They look like small delays, glitches, or bad timing. But if you don't understand what's happening, it can feel like your benefits are being taken away. For years, many beneficiaries got used to a very predictable pattern. Your payment would show up the same day, at the same time, sometimes even early. Some banks even released funds 1 or 2 days ahead of the official payment date. It became routine. You built your entire monthly plan around that timing. But now that pattern is starting to shift, and this is where the confusion begins because officially, nothing has changed on the Social Security side. Payments are still being sent on the same schedule. However, banks are changing how they handle those payments once they receive them. Some banks are tightening their security systems, others are adjusting their internal processing times. And one of the biggest changes we're seeing right now is that some banks are quietly reducing or completely removing early deposit access. So, what does that mean for you? It means the same payment can now show up differently. Let's talk about real situations people are experiencing right now. Someone who normally sees their deposit late Tuesday night suddenly sees nothing. They go to bed stressed and worried, thinking something is wrong. Then they wake up Wednesday morning and the money is there. Same payment, just delayed by a few hours, but those few hours caused a lot of stress. Another example: someone logs into their account and sees their deposit marked as pending. The money is technically there, but they can't use it yet. Before, funds were available instantly. Now there's a delay between seeing the money and actually accessing it. And if you're living on a fixed income, even a short delay can affect bill payments, purchases, and peace of mind. Now, here's the truth that WealthWave wants to make very clear. In most of these situations, your Social Security benefit is not being reduced. What's changing is how and when the money becomes available to you. But let's be honest, if you don't know, that it feels exactly the same as a cut. At the same time, we can't ignore something important. There are real situations where your benefit amount can change. And when that happens alongside these banking shifts, it creates even more confusion. So now the big question becomes, what's actually changing and what isn't? Let's break it down in the simplest way possible. Your Social Security payment goes through multiple steps before it ever reaches your bank account. First, your benefit is calculated by the Social Security Administration. Then, the payment is issued by the U.S. Treasury. After that, it moves through the Federal Reserve System, basically the pipeline connecting the government to banks. Finally, your bank receives the money. But here's the key point: just because your bank receives the payment doesn't mean they release it to you immediately. This is where timing differences happen. Every bank has its own system. Some release funds instantly, others take extra time to process or verify deposits. And recently, many banks have started making changes in this exact area. Some are adding extra fraud checks. Others are changing when deposits get posted, like moving from overnight to morning or even later in the day. And again, one of the biggest changes is the reduction of early deposits. So if you used to get your payment early and now you're not, it feels like a delay. But in reality, it may just be a return to the official schedule. For example, if your official payment date is Wednesday, but your bank used to give you access on Monday, that early access may now be gone. So Monday and Tuesday feel like something is wrong, but Wednesday morning, the payment shows up right on time. Same money, same schedule, different expectation. And that expectation is what's causing stress for so many people. Now, let's talk about something else that's becoming more common: pending deposits. You log into your account, you see the money, but you can't use it yet. That's because the bank is still processing it. Before, many banks skipped this step. Now, some are holding funds for a few extra hours or longer before clearing them. Again, it feels like something is wrong, but in many cases, it's just a processing change. Now, here's what you need to understand: these timing changes are happening at the bank level, not from Social Security itself. The government is still sending payments on time. But once that money reaches your bank, the timing can vary depending on their system. That's why people across different states and different banks are seeing completely different experiences. Now, let's shift to the part that actually affects your money. Real payment changes because while timing is one thing, there are situations where your benefit amount can actually go down. One of the most common reasons is Medicare deductions. If you're enrolled in Medicare Part B, your premium is automatically taken out of your Social Security payment. So even if your total benefit stays the same, the amount you receive can be lower. For example, if your benefit is around $1,900 and your Medicare premium increases slightly, your final deposit will reflect that immediately. Another reason is overpayment recovery. If Social Security determines you were overpaid in the past, they can start deducting money from your monthly benefit. Then there are income related adjustments, especially for SSI recipients. Even small income changes can lead to a recalculation and a lower payment. And in some cases, federal debts can also reduce your Social Security through offsets. Now imagine this: your bank delays your deposit slightly and your payment amount changes at the same time. Naturally, it feels like one big problem, but in reality, it's two separate things happening at once. That's why understanding the difference is so important. Here's a simple way to break it down. If your payment amount stays the same but arrives at a different time, it's likely a banking change. If your payment amount is consistently lower across multiple months, that's a real adjustment. Now, let's talk about what you should do, because this is where you take back control. First, always know your full benefit amount before deductions. Then compare it to what actually hits your bank account. That difference usually explains everything. Second, check any notices you've received. Even something that seemed unimportant could explain a change in your payment. Third, contact your bank and ask a simple question: what time do you post federal benefit deposits? That one answer can clear up a lot of confusion. And here's something very important: if your payment doesn't show up exactly when you expect it, don't panic immediately. Give it one full business day. Many deposits are now arriving later than before. If it still doesn't show up, contact your bank first. Often, they can already see the payment pending, even if you can't. Only after checking with your bank should you reach out to Social Security. So let's answer the big question that brought you here today. Are banks reducing your Social Security benefits? No, banks are not cutting your benefits, but they are changing how and when your money becomes available. And at the same time, other factors may be affecting your final payment amount. That combination is what's creating confusion across the country. Here's the bottom line from WealthWave: if something looks different, check the amount first, then check the timing. Those two steps will tell you almost everything you need to know. And once you understand that, the stress and confusion start to fade away. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you noticed any changes in your Social Security deposit, whether it's timing, amount, or pending status? Drop your state and your experience down in the comments. It helps everyone in the Senior Benefit Hub community stay informed and aware. If you found this helpful, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Senior USA Hub, and turn on notifications so you never miss an important update that could affect your money. And as always, thank you for watching. Stay informed, stay prepared, and I'll see you in the next video.